Jennifer, a number of far right-wing organizations tried to set up White Lives Matter rallies from coast to coast. They did a bunch of promotion on Telegram and some of the darker corners of the internet. There were people that sent me videos and chats. There's places that we get into and we can read this stuff. And there were dozens and dozens of organizations that were allegedly planning things. But when you started diving into a lot of these groups, you would find no messages at all or people just trolling. And in Seattle, a total of 2 people showed up for White Lives Matter, but a lot more people showed up to let them know that they were not going to be having their white supremacy on Sunday.
Hi, I'm Annalisa. I'm here with a couple of different groups today. I'm a part of the Comrades of Color Caucus with the Freedom Socialist Party and Radical Women. When we heard that there are folks claiming that white lives matter, we're here to say that, Black lives matter and all oppressed folks' lives matter.
This is not a problem that's just going to end tomorrow. It's not going to end a week after that or a month after that. This is a problem that has been going on for centuries, and it is a problem that is going to continue until we bring it to an end.
Because we know when we stand together, we can conquer the fear and force these bigots to retreat. A common thread between all forms of white supremacy and fascism is the drive to put women in their place.
No KKK, no fascist USA? These guys were going to hold, the women were going to hold this so-called White Lives Matter rally. They don't tell you one thing. They think that only White Lives Matter.
We are here to say we are the people, the mighty people, anti-racist, anti-fascist, anti-sexist, pro the liberation of all oppressed people.
Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter.
Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter.
Thank you, and solidarity forever.
Jennifer, that was a video from yours truly.
Yeah. I watched a little bit of the stream yesterday, but as you know, I was driving back and forth to Olympia and other things.
Yeah, so there were 3 groups that were there. There were essentially 2 groups that were there to stand up against any presence from White Lives Matter, and then the Falun Gong protesters, which are kind of everywhere in Seattle. They show up they were there. They're typically on Westlake on the weekend as it is. There was a pretty significant contingent of people in Black Bloc that were there, associated with the Youth Liberation Front. ENDD as an organization really doesn't exist anymore. And the John Brown Gun Club was there. There were medics that were there. And basically it was all for naught. There was one individual that came in. We filmed the conversation, but honestly, he was talking at a really low voice, and I was going to have to invest too much time to kind of vocal enhance to get in, to get what he was saying. There's nothing horrible. It was just kind of cringeworthy. And then there was one incident with an individual in a white Chevy Suburban who ultimately drove over the sidewalk to get away from the area as a significant group of Black Bloc members were kind of closing in on their vehicle. What we had heard is ironically, he was calling them cowards.
What? Yeah, I watched that part of the stream when that was going on. But he was calling the protesters cowards?
Yes.
Oh, geez. Okay. The dude
I love your... This stuff doesn't surprise me anymore because I've just been out there so many times for it. But yeah, so.
Okay.
No police, no arrests, no violence, no nothing. You can't say that all across the country, though. Huntington Beach, California got a little sideways. That White Lives Matter rally was set up by the head of the Ku Klux Klan for the state of California. That individual imprisoned back in 2016 for stabbing multiple people at another Ku Klux Klan rally that he set up.
Yeah, that's not surprising. I know, and it's interesting to me. Like the KKK historically has kind of waxed and waned in its presence, but anytime there's any kind of racial animosity they think they can exploit, they always tend to resurface. And interestingly, it's always in like periods where we have presidents that are kind of like favorable to them. I mean, look, if you look back to Woodrow Wilson, there was a film, The Birth of a Nation, that kind of put on this different perspective on the Klan, because the Klan had refashioned themselves as like virtuous and protectors of white women's virtue and all of these things. And so they tend to reemerge in periods where politically it's favorable for them to come out.
Yeah, Birth of a Nation is an interesting piece of celluloid that was created and perpetuated a number of tropes about people of color that actually 100 years later still carry on today.